And don't forget about SuperTalk TV. You can find us on your computer or your mobile device. You'll see I'm not alone anymore in the studio, which always brings me so much joy. I have with you your new Miss Mississippi Teen for 2024, Miss Brooke Bumgarner of Madison. She was just crowned last weekend.
Yes, ma'am. It's been 10 days.
10 whole days since you received the crown. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And that was there in Vicksburg, Mississippi. And so now you're gearing up not only to fulfill your duties over the next year as Miss Mississippi Teen, but you're gearing up for Miss America Teen in January. So how's the whirlwind been? What's it all been like the last 10 days?
It still feels like a dream. I have been competing in the Miss America opportunity for over 4 years now, and I look back with so much gratitude for each and every year, but I've reached the goal that I've been working so hard towards, and it has just been such a dream that I do not want to wake up from.
So 4 years ago, when you had the opportunity to maybe get into the circuit, I guess as they call it, or sort of walk into this world, what was it about the pageant world that sort of inspired you to take a risk and to see what it was all about?
What I love about this program is the opportunity to get involved with your community and gain leadership skills and communication skills. That's what drew me to the Miss America opportunity, and why I wanted to be Miss Mississippi's Teen is because there are so many great ways to connect with people that I wouldn't have the opportunity to connect with otherwise, and that's something that I'm so thankful to take advantage of and be able to do every single day as Miss Mississippi's Teen.
So as Miss Mississippi's Teen for 2024, like, what are your work requirements? Like, what will you be doing for the next year other than getting ready to compete for Miss America Teen?
What I love about this job and opportunity is that every week will look different. For me, some weeks will include preparing for Miss America's Teen through interviewing and practicing my walk or practicing my talent piece. I'm a vocalist, and so that's a big part of my life. But other weeks, I get to make appearances and meet new people and gain connections. This past Monday, I had my first appearance at Kendra Scott, and that was just such an amazing opportunity, and I was so thankful to be a part of that.
They definitely give back to the community, as well as all of the girls who are in the Miss America sort of organization or in that sort of circuit. Through now it's called your community service initiatives. I mean, they change the name all the time on me, Brooks. I have to keep up with it, but the meaning is still the same. It's figuring out a way to sort of give back and get into our communities, which I think is one of the best parts of the pageant world. So tell us about your community service initiative.
My community service initiative is bullying prevention and character education, and I decided to advocate for this when I realized how big an issue bullying is. Mississippi is ranked in the top 10 states for reported bullying, and that is something that I would love to change this year as Miss Mississippi's Teen. I've spoken to over 4,000 Mississippians about the causes and effects of bullying and why it's so important to combat that, and I hope to speak to as many more as possible. My community service initiative is all about introducing positive qualities and character traits to youth so that we can prevent the issue of bullying.
When you go and you speak to these children, obviously younger, you're a senior in high school, so I'm thinking maybe middle school or like freshmen in terms of the high school experience. What are they telling you about bullying? Is it happening most still like in schools, or we have now moved into the digital age of bullying?
It is definitely a big part of both. When COVID hit the United States, cyberbullying took a 70% spike, and it has not gone back to how it was before COVID was in America. And that's something that is heartbreaking, knowing that students and children are online and facing negativity that social media can have, is something that I want to change, and is something that I don't want anyone else to have to go through because social media is such a broad world. It definitely has its positives and negatives, and I think that we can utilize it for good through introducing positive character and reminding students how important it is to be safe and responsible and respectful to help themselves and the people around them.
Brooke, you got a lot of parents, grandparents, and a few, I guess, we're still got car rider lines for a couple more days that listening to good things. So how can a parent bring up the conversation of bullying, or how could how could you encourage students to bring up bullying to their parents?
One thing that I've always prioritized in my advocacy is doing so with love at the forefront of one's attempt to solve the issue of bullying. I think that acting in love is the most effective way to eradicate this problem that we're faced with every day, whether it be from a student and their perspective, or a teacher's perspective, or a parent's perspective. I think that as long as we're acting with love for one another, that can help be a huge problem solver for bullying.
I totally agree with that. And just because you don't think your kids are being bullied or are the bully, you could be wrong. So
Absolutely.
Kids don't always bring home and just share that information. So having those good conversations is always a good place to start. You're fixing to start on this next chapter for yourself, obviously as Miss Teen Mississippi, but then also as Miss Mississippi Teen, excuse me, let me get it right. But then also going off to college, and you're choosing to stay in state. So what's next for you, Brooke?
So I love Mississippi, and I've always known that I want to stay in state. Mississippi has raised me. We're the hospitality state, and that's something that I love about our state. And I'm really excited to embark on this journey, not only as Miss Mississippi's Teen, but as a college student. That's something that will be really interesting and fun to learn how to balance and discipline myself with, and I'm super excited for it.
So where are we headed?
I'm going to the University of Mississippi.
And what are we studying?
I'm planning on majoring in communications. The Miss America opportunity has taught me so much about how to connect with others, and I believe that an educational path in communications is best for me.
I think you're well on your way to doing that, Miss Brooke, for sure. Will you continue for the road for Miss Mississippi?
That is definitely a part of my plan. As I mentioned before, I love Mississippi, and it would be an honor to represent it in that way in the future.
So if young girls are, because I'm trying to do the math is hard. So if you're a senior, you're around like 18 or 19. So that means you would have started your dream for Miss Mississippi Teen or 14, 15 or something of that. And if parents are listening, that they got young girls who are interested in it, but maybe they think it's too young or they don't know about it, like how do you encourage those young ladies to still step out and try something new and different?
This is one of my favorite things to talk about when it comes to Miss America and Miss Mississippi, because I was once the little 12-year-old shy girl that wasn't super confident on a stage or wasn't super confident talking to a panel of judges. And my mom, when she was younger, was involved with the pageant world. And so she really, really wanted to do Miss Mississippi, but it was televised, and that made her nervous. And so I am doing this with the confidence that she didn't have. And I'm doing this for my mom because I want to represent her well. But I look back on younger me, and I know that she could never imagine that I'd be sitting here at SuperTalk Mississippi with Miss Rebecca Turner and advocating for my state and things I'm passionate about. And I know that there are so many little girls out there like that too. And my advice to you is that you can do this, and it doesn't take perfection to do this job well. And I would encourage anybody who's interested in competing to do so, because it has truly changed my life.
I will say all the crowns we've had through here on Good Things, Brooke, have said sort of the same thing, but then also say even if you don't get the crown, it's still sort of the life skills and the friendships that you make and, you know, the confidence that you gain from it that can be worth it. If you have a child, not everyone's made for the stage then that way. Not everyone's made to sing on a stage either, Brooke. That would be me. That would not be my talent. I don't know what I would do, but it wouldn't be that. When did you find your love of singing?
I have been singing for the majority of my life, and I have switched up the style of singing I've done on the Miss Mississippi's Teen stage over the years. At first, I started with a lyrical ballad, and then I switched to jazz vocal, and this past year I switched back to a lyrical ballad. And so I love exploring my own voice and different styles that I can express myself through. What I love about this program is that if someone doesn't feel comfortable singing on a stage, there's also an option to perform a her story, which is a monologue about your journey and your life. And that's something that also counts for the talent phase of competition. And I've enjoyed watching other people do that, and it's just as impactful and purposeful as the talent portion.
So some of the interesting facts I have here about you, Miss Brooke, you're a Hamilton fanatic. Have you gotten a chance to see it?
I have seen it off-Broadway in Memphis. December of 2021, my mom and I woke up one day over Christmas break, and she saw that there were a couple tickets available at the very tip top of the auditorium that it was being performed in, of the theater. And so we decided that the next day we were going to take a girls' road trip to go see Hamilton. And we drove there, stayed for 2 hours, and drove back that night. And it was such a cool opportunity that I'll never forget.
I love this too, professional road tripper. You are not old enough to be professional anything, but you got many more years to be road tripping. But other than that one, that obviously sounds like a memorable one. What's your most memorable road trip?
So every few years, my family and I take a trip to Colorado, and that is a 20-hour drive there and a 20-hour drive back, and that is definitely memorable. I have 3 sisters, and so we squeeze all 6 of us in a car for 20 hours, and we get real close and get to know each other real well, and that's something that I always look forward to doing with my family.
Done that one time, Brooke, to Durango, Colorado, and mark my words, I will fly. I will figure out a way to fly that next time. Okay, how can we keep up with everything that you're doing online? How can we follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Miss America's Teen MS, and that is on all social media platforms. And yeah, so if you want to keep up with my journey, that's how you can do so.
All righty, we'll definitely do that. We're wishing you the best come January, but also enjoy and soak up the next 350-ish days
Yes.
that you have left as Miss Mississippi's Teen 2024, Miss Brooke Bumgarner. All right, you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.